Hey everyone, as we all know, 3 days ago, the Late Show with Stephen Colbert has come to the close in 10 months, which came out next year in May. And because the tensions between merger with Paramount and Skydance, and especially Donald Trump, because they got lots of settlement of between the lawsuit between CBS News and the 60 Minutes related that. So but I think this is going to be like a because the Paramount Skydance merger was common with Warner Bros. Discovery because similar with David Zaslav and David Ellison was probably the same person. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what is going on with late night programming. So as probably you don't know, Eddie Burback made a video about the death of late night TV because didn't he have a problem after the decline of late night programming because the Hollywood strikes which came out the same time came in the same time because there's like we're basically we're with the end of a programming, late night programming, focus on doing other stuff. But the thing is, after the CBS canceled Late Late Show with James Corden due to bad behavior with Mr. Corden, because the late night programming was pretty much the mixed feelings, like is in the recent years, like the After Midnight reboot was already canceled due to low ratings. Another comment to that, but the late night programming was not what's going on. That leads us to the Late Show with Stephen Colbert because they're going to be it, and CBS to drop late night franchisee entirely. But what's going on? This is a joke. Paramount Skydance merger become the was affect the late night programming in CBS. Well, I haven't mentioned that they're cancel a lot of stuff like they did with the Warner Bros. Discovery in common. They canceled the Tiny Chef show. The Pausing canceled South Park, and they canceled Bruce Cruz and You. There's like many fans, mostly children, are not happy because of they cancel all the stuff because of Paramount Skydance merger. But this has had to be a joke. But the late night programming, on the hand, was pretty much what's going on after the Late Show with Stephen Colbert was canceled. Like, why? But the thing is, I know that the late night programming was probably gone to sex and streaming because Netflix had the experiment of the late night programming with Everyone's Live with John Mulaney. It did success. It did a modest success because I know that Everyone's Live with John Mulaney was pretty much the beginning of the experiment of late night programming on streaming service. So it worked. But on TV side, in it didn't work pretty much to the end. I mean, late night programming was probably gone a huge thing for the last decades. But the thing is, due to the Trump program and all that stuff, mostly like Paramount Skydance merger and Hollywood strikes, this more marked the decline of the late night programming on TV because streaming becoming a huge thing. But but I heard the rumor that Jimmy Kimmel Live was going to be canceled next year because Disney was not happy after the Late Show with Stephen Colbert was canceled. But like that, I think that's a rumor. But if Jimmy Kimmel Live will going to be canceled next year, I think this is pretty much the end of the late night programming on TV for good. The only have was the Tonight Show was starring Jimmy Fallon and Late Night with Seth Meyers on NBC. It still works, but might be going to be canceled too because of the reasons that common with these late night shows. But you know what? I need a wake up call for all the community. But if the late if the Late Show with Steve Colbert was still airing on CBS without a controversy and especially the Paramount Skydance merger, people will respect the late night programming. We're pretty much the legacy of that. Johnny Carson and Ed Sullivan and Johnny Carson was probably because the true golden age. Hey, David Letterman was over airing did the Late Show. No, before is working at the late night on NBC, and now later moved to CBS. And hey, Conan O'Brien was one of my favorite late night hosts. Or on the NBC was late night with Conan O'Brien. Where works because I love late night with Conan O'Brien. I did a lot. I saw a lot of clips on YouTube, and it's my personal favorite. And I also did a late show with the different hosts, including Craig Ferguson. But in the modern late night shows, currently different. And the Tonight Show with Jay Leno was pretty much go highs and lows. It did popular in 1990s and 2000s and declined but unfortunately the Tonight Show with Jay Leno not so much because of declining after Conan O'Brien left the Tonight Show, but it did pretty much the short lived. So and but the pretty modern day late night programming become huge in the Tonight Show with starring Jimmy Fallon, the Late Night with Seth Meyers, the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and the Late Late Show with James Corden. The works, but the only programming was still airing since 2000. In the midst of the late night programming was the Jimmy Kimmel Live on ABC. It still works, but even because Jimmy Kimmel is still a host and he was one to be calling the most important host and ever on the late night programming, but still no Matt Damon allowed because he's right on time. But I would say I know this late night programming are declining because the reasons. So if the Late Show with Stephen Colbert was still airing without Paramount and Skynet's merger and controversy with the lawsuit with between Donald Trump and CBS News, people respect late night programming, and I want to continue on. The legacy of late night programming is not going to be the end. This is we continue watching late night programming without any problems, tensors, and maybe cancer programs. But the thing is, if the Late Show with Stephen Colbert was going to be end, maybe the late night programming was also going to be other programming, like the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, starring Jimmy Fallon, Late Night with Seth Meyers, and Jimmy Kimmel Live was going to be canceled too for obvious reasons. So, please, if you love the late night programming, I want to know if we need to save without cancellation. And I made the hashtags too because of the saving the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. So hashtag save the Late Show, hashtag boycott Paramount, hashtag boycott Skydance, and hashtag fire David Edison. We need to continue airing the Late Show with Stephen Colbert without cancellation and controversy too. We're the legacy of the late night programming. But if you love the content and portraying all of the American fans who are watching late night programming, the legacy will always live on. And as per you wanting, please save the Late Show without cancellation and Paramount Skydance merger and the lawsuit settled with Donald Trump and CBS News related to 60 Minutes. We continue airing late night programming on the different American TV stations, and also we continue posting late night clips on my channel without a lot of problems. So please, reminder: hashtag save the Late Show, hashtag boycott Paramount, hashtag boycott Skydance, and hashtag fire David Edison. Let's spread the word and save the late night programming without getting cancellation. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And whenever, happy 10,000 videos, everyone. Yay! All right. Thank you for watching. Take care, everyone.